Hey guys, welcome to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kiara and I'm a full-time crochet business owner, and I really like to share all of that with you guys by making videos. So in this particular video, I will be bringing you guys along to 3 markets to sell my crocheted plushies. So I do a lot of these market vlogs, and then I do a breakdown at the end to tell you guys about all my sales and how much money I made and all that good stuff. And this time there's 3 markets. So normally in these videos I would show you guys like the market prep that I need to do, but in this video I won't be showing you guys all of that because I kind of did it already. There was a lot of market prep to do since I haven't had a market in a few weeks, so there was just a lot of things that added up over time that needed to get done. So I've been doing it over the past few days. So that's why I won't be showing you guys the market prep since it's all done already. So today is Thursday, and today is going to be the first market of this video. So it's a night market, and then I have another night market on Saturday night, and then I have like an all-day market on Sunday. So it's 3 markets in the span of like 4 days. So I'm pretty excited. I think it's going to be really fun but tiring, but I hope you guys want to come along with me and come to all 3 markets with me. So almost everything is ready to go for today's market. I just have a few bags that I need to bring to my car, and then I need to kind of rearrange things in my car since I am picking up both my grandparents for them to come to the market with me, so I need to make room in the car for them to sit. And I have a lamp that's charging right now since it is a night market, so I do want a lamp for when it gets dark. It is summer, so the sun is up later than it normally is, or like it's up later than it is in winter. So I don't know if it really will get dark while we're at the market, but I do want to have a lamp just in case. So I did quite a few of these night markets with these organizers at this venue last year, and they were really good for me. I did really well at like every single one of them. Sometimes I even did better at those night markets than I did at like weekend markets with those same organizers at the same venue. So the night markets seem to be really working for me, and I am excited for Saturday's night market. That one, I will talk about it more a little bit later after this market, but I'm excited for all of these markets. But I really enjoy night markets. They seem to really work for me. I don't know if it's just my particular audience is always out at that time. I don't know, but they seem to really work last year. Hopefully I do really well again this year. So this is my first night market of this market season. So honestly, like there's nothing else for me to show you guys or tell you guys really, so I will just kind of go chill a little bit before the market, eat something since I haven't eaten really much today. So I will go eat something, just get myself ready, but all of my stuff is ready except that I have to move things around in my car. So I'm just gonna go do all of that, and then I will talk to you guys again basically right before I leave for the market. And then as usual, I will show you guys my setup and try to update you guys throughout the market. I won't be taking any videos while I'm setting up since we only have 1 hour, and my display is a lot more elaborate than it was last year, so I have a lot more things to set up. So when I'm setting up, especially at this venue, I really try to just get things up and ready as quickly as possible, because while we're setting up, there's usually a ton of people walking around and looking at my stuff, so I just like to be ready so that people can come and shop as quickly as possible. But I will definitely take some pictures and a video of my booth once it's all set up to show you guys. So I'm really excited. Alright guys, so I'm not quite ready yet. It's only like 2:30 right now, and I'm planning on leaving my house at like 3:15 since we can start setting up at 4, and I have to go pick up my grandparents and find a good parking spot and everything. So anyways, I just wanted to update you guys right now though, because the weather, I kept checking the weather for today, and literally up to like an hour ago it was looking perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden there's a big thing that says like severe thunderstorm watch, which that came out of nowhere. But anyways, I'm just keeping a close eye on it because it was like not announcing anything like that before like literally an hour ago. So it looks like it might pass very soon and then be done in like 10 minutes. So hopefully that just passes and then we're all good to go. Of course, if anything changes, I'll update you guys and let you guys know. The organizers haven't sent out anything, so I think they're probably monitoring it too. But I'm hoping it just passes and then we're done with it. Right now where I am, like, it's looking just fine outside, which is really weird. But anyways, the weather app is really confusing right now. It's saying there's a severe thunderstorm watch, but then it's literally saying hourly. It's going to be sunny every single hour. So I'm really confused about that. But I'm just monitoring the radar, monitoring the app itself, just to make sure everything is going to be safe. So anyways, I'll keep an eye on it. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know. But if nothing changes and we're still good to go, I will see you guys at the market. Hey guys, so it's Friday morning now. I'm sorry I didn't like update you guys last night after the market because I got home pretty late and I was just really tired and just kind of wanted to go to bed. So I'm just gonna update you guys Friday morning. I mean, for you guys it doesn't make much of a difference. So I'm just having my coffee right now. I slept in quite a bit today. I've been pretty good for waking up on my own pretty early recently, but I guess I was just so tired last night, so I kind of slept in. So anyways, I will update you guys about yesterday's market. So when I took the video showing my booth, I was just kind of trying to hurry. I don't know, maybe you guys noticed, like I was going a little fast. Before I took that video, I had already made one sale. And there was a lot of people like walking and just kind of like looking around while I was taking my video. So that's why I was trying to hurry so that I wasn't like in their way if they wanted to check out my stuff. So when that was happening and I had already made a sale, like I was pretty optimistic, I guess. I thought it was gonna go really well. So that was kind of how it started. And then at some point I did take a video just like showing my perspective of the market kind of thing, like the other booths a little bit around me and just like the people walking. But honestly, when I was filming, there wasn't much people that were walking around, but I will get more into it in a second. But the market itself wasn't really that busy. Like there was a bit of people like walking around when I was setting up and when I was trying to take my video and stuff. But overall, the market wasn't like insanely busy like it was last year. So even though I made a sale pretty early on, overall, the market wasn't that successful for me. Like, I'm not gonna go and call it a fail. Like, I still made my money back for my booth fee and made a bit of profit and everything. I didn't like lose money, but I can't say I'm like 100% satisfied with how the market went for me. But, I mean, my dog is making noises. Oh my god. Okay, I'm not gonna go and say like it was a fail or anything, but I'm not overly happy with how the market went for me, but that happens sometimes, you know, you can't always be making a lot of money because I don't know. So, yeah, overall the market wasn't really that great for me. the traffic, like, I'm trying to remember compared to last year, and when I did these night markets with these organizers last year, I was always doing really, really well. So I signed up for every single one of them this year, except for two, because I'll be at separate events that are like fairs. And then so they also go on a Thursday. So that's why I left out two Thursdays that I won't be doing this market because I'll be at like bigger fairs, bigger events. But I basically booked all of them for the whole summer. So I booked all of them because I did really, really well last year. But I will get more into the different factors that I think kind of affected my sales and why those factors weren't an issue last year. So the first thing is last year when I did these Thursday night markets, I was always, like every single time, I was always the only crocheter there. So that was definitely great since there wasn't any like competition or anything like that. But last year, I don't think it's because the organizers were limiting the amount of vendors that were like selling the same things because it wouldn't make sense that they took me every time. So I think it just so happened like that last year maybe I was the only one applying for the Thursday night ones if other crocheters weren't available to go to the Thursday night markets or something. I don't know. I'm just assuming that last year maybe they didn't apply because they couldn't. So anyways, but there was another crocheter there yesterday, which don't get me wrong, I'm always down for meeting crochet friends. Like I absolutely love that. But when it's a smaller market like this, there was about like 12 vendors, I'm gonna say. So there wasn't a lot of vendors, and then two of us were selling crocheted plushies. So I think that definitely affected my sales. I'm hoping she did well too, but it affects both of our sales when there's two of us selling the same products with like such a small group of vendors. I think it's a bit different when you have a lot more vendors. So I think maybe that was one factor, but she was super, super nice, and she did give me a little something that I'll be showing you guys soon. So she was really, really nice. Like, I just think that maybe the organizers should have figured, well, okay, we only have 12 vendors. Let's maybe alternate them every week. We take one crochet vendor, next week we take another one, or something like that. That's just my opinion, though, that maybe that's what I would do. I don't know. But super nice person. I'm always happy to meet other people who love to crochet. That's just my opinion on like the market aspect of it. But anyways, that was not the only factor, so let's get to the next ones. So I think another thing that maybe affected my sales was that last year at these markets, so this is like just a street, but it's like a pedestrian street. Like no cars can go on this street. But last year we were like on the other side of it, and there was little to no people walking behind our booths. Everyone was walking somewhere in the front, whether like they were right in the front of our booth or a bit further on the sidewalk or something. So everybody was walking in front of your booth, so everyone that was walking could see your booth. But this year we were put on the other side of the street where there's a bigger sidewalk right behind our booths, and there's people walking in the street also. So this year there was people walking in front of our booths. We were told to face, I mean, they didn't really say face this way, but I think more people walked in that street. So we all set up facing that street, but then the people that were walking on the sidewalk behind our booths couldn't go and shop at our booths. So some vendors did put one table on each side for people to look. I just don't know if that would be too much to manage if you got someone on one side and then someone on the other side and you got to keep an eye on everything. I don't know. But I will definitely keep that in mind for next time and try and maybe alter my setup. I have an idea. I don't know if it's going to work, but I have an idea. So I'm just going to try and keep thinking of ideas to be able to have people on both sides look at my stuff and for them to be able to come in and shop on both sides. I don't know. I'm going to try and think of something. If you guys have ideas, you can let me know in the comments. Try to explain it best as you can. So I think maybe that was another factor. Maybe I missed out on sales because people were walking behind my booth. Maybe they would have ended up buying something if they could see what I was selling and they could come in and see. But the way I was set up, that wasn't really possible. So I will definitely try to alter that for next time. And the last thing is, there just wasn't that many people, I must say. Like, I'm not saying it was completely dead, but there was sometimes that we were like, there's nobody walking by, and then sometimes there would be a bit more people. But I'm trying to think, compared to last year, I think it was more busy last year, like, in, like, just by the amount of people that were there. But it's still, I don't know, I guess it is kind of the middle of the summer, so I don't know. I'm just hoping that it does get more busy, throughout the summer for the other Thursday night markets, since I did like sign up for all of them. So I hope they get more busy. Maybe something else was going on, like Canada Day just passed a few days ago, so maybe people didn't really want to go out because they did go out for Canada Day. I don't know. So I'm just hoping that the next ones are maybe a bit busier, because it's obviously harder to make sales if the people aren't there. So that was just the other thing. So with all of that, I will tell you guys how much money I made and just like tell you guys about all my sales. So in this video, there will be 3 markets, and I will do 3 separate breakdowns because they are all 3 different markets. So I wouldn't want to do one whole big breakdown at the end, because then you guys wouldn't necessarily know what sold at each market, since that can vary per market, per audience, per venue. So I just want to separate all of that for you guys. So with all of these factors that I've mentioned, I will tell you guys how much money I made. Like I said, I wouldn't say it's a fail. I didn't completely fail. I still made a bit of money, but I am a bit disappointed since last year I did really, really well, and maybe my expectations were a little bit too high. But anyways, let's get right into it. So at yesterday's night market, I made a total of $329 in sales. So like I said, it's not horrible. I've done a lot worse, but I was hoping for better, but that's okay. The booth fee was $55. The square fees were $4.09. And another thing about this venue is that I had to pay for parking up until 5:30. So that cost me $6, which is expensive for, like, I think literally that was like less than 2 hours of parking. But anyways, so that would leave me with a total profit of $263.91. So it's not the worst thing ever. I've done worse in the past, but especially for this venue is a pain to set up at, especially the Thursday night ones, because you cannot bring your car close whatsoever to unload or anything. And finding parking at this venue is insane, especially on Thursday nights. So I was lucky. Right when I got there, I was able to find a parking pretty easily. It was really tight on both sides because there was cars that were parked on their lines or whatever. Anyways, I was able to fit my car there, but we had to take everything out through the trunk. Like, we were not able to open our side doors to get things out, so I had to literally crawl in my trunk to pull things out. Like, you know, that was a pain to begin with. And then I had to pay $6 for less than 2 hours of parking, and then after 5:30 it was free, so we didn't have to worry about that. But still, I still had to pay out of pocket for parking, which is not pleasant, but we live in a big city. That's the reality here, unfortunately. So that's just the thing with this venue. Whenever I do markets at this venue, I have high expectations because there's so many costs associated to it. There's a lot of hassle associated to setting up at this venue. So I just like to make it worth my while. Would I say that yesterday's market was worth my while? I don't know. Like, it was a lot of work to set up and tear down and everything, but I still didn't necessarily lose money with, like, the square fees, booth fee, everything. So I don't know. I'm just really hoping that the other Thursday nights that I signed up for are better, more traffic. I don't know, like, I do love meeting crochet friends, but when it comes to the market, sometimes it's just better to have one crochet vendor, especially if you have such a small group of, like, vendors. So anyways, I don't know, I'm just hoping the next ones are better for me, at least. My vendor friend, she was beside me, she sells bracelets that she makes, and she did pretty well. Like, she didn't do insanely well, but I think she did better than me, so I was happy for her. So maybe the audience just wasn't there. I don't know. So I will tell you guys, I will do a breakdown of everything I sold. I will tell you guys how many of each items I sold out of the amount that I brought. I will tell you guys how much I sold the item for, and I will put a picture of the item up here to give you guys an idea of what it was. So starting with big axolotls, I started with 3 of them and I sold one for $28. I started with 6 big bees and I sold 2 of them for $20 each. I started with 15 small bees and I sold 3 of them for $12 each. I started with 6 big dinos and I sold one for $22. I started with 2 dishcloths and I sold both of them for $5 each. That was to my market friend neighbor. She's been telling me she wanted dishcloths, and I did have some made, but I kept forgetting to bring them every time I saw her, and I finally brought them. So I sold both of them to her, and she said if I ever make more, she's interested in getting them also. I started with 3 fried eggs, and I sold 2 of them for $15 each, so I'd like to make more of those today, since they obviously sold well yesterday, and I have 2 more markets coming up, so I'd like to have more. I started with 136 keychains, and I sold 4 of them for $8 each, and I believe I crocheted 6 of them there, so I actually came home with more keychains than I went there with, but they're really tiny, so they didn't take too much room, and they're just something I can crochet over there when it's not too busy. I started with 4 big frogs and I sold one for $18. I started with 22 little frogs and I sold 3 of them for $8 each. I started with 12 acrylic octopus, or just octopus made with acrylic yarn, and I sold one for $15. I started with 3 acrylic reversible octopus and I sold one for $15. I specified this one that was made with acrylic yarn because I do make some reversible octopus that are made with like chunkier yarn, so they're a different price and everything. I started with 16 small sea turtles and I sold 2 of them for $18 each. And lastly, I started with 5 medium sea turtles and I sold one for $25. So that's a total of 24 items that sold. So that's not horrible. I obviously would have liked to do better, but I mean, that's just what happens sometimes. I think what maybe would have helped though is like if I sold like one bigger item. Like the most expensive item that I sold yesterday was the big axolotl that was $28. So like if I had sold one like maybe $45 item, that would have kind of helped that amount of money get it a little bit higher, even though I didn't sell a lot of items. There's some markets that I don't sell that many items, but I sell more higher priced items, so that's always good. But most of the items that I sold were pretty small, but I still sold some items. I still got my name out there. I still met some really nice people, so I guess I can say I'm somewhat happy with yesterday's market. Now for yesterday's best sellers. So my number 1 bestseller, which is really not surprising, it's literally always the best seller, is keychains. We have a 2-way tie for number 2 and 3. So number 2, well, we have 2-way ties. Number 2 is small bees and little frogs, since I sold 3 of each. And my number 3 bestseller for yesterday, again a 2-way tie, is big bees and small sea turtles, because I sold 2 of each of those. So those were yesterday's best sellers. We'll see if they're different for the 2 other markets. They might be close, they might be completely different. I'm kind of assuming that keychains are going to be the best sellers, at least in the top 3 for Saturday and Sunday's markets. They're just literally always my best sellers. So this is what I wanted to show you guys earlier. At the end of the market, the other crochet vendor came up to me and she brought me a little something, which I saw a lot of people buying these from her and then walking around with it, but I couldn't quite see what they were, so now I get to see. The little packaging kind of got squished in my bag last night, so I apologize, but it just comes in this little thing, and a lot of kids just had this like around their necks, and I saw people buying that over there, but I was like, what is that, you know, like I couldn't really see, but it says welcome to the bird army. Super cute. I just imagine that this must cost a lot in like all the packaging and all everything, but super cute. I probably couldn't afford to add all of this into my plushies and stuff because it would just cost so much, but that's awesome. So it opens like this, and it's just a little bird. I'm assuming it's like a little drink he's holding. He's so tiny. I don't know if I can like put him closer. And it comes with a little card like this that says he is a spy bird, and you need to make him like a little ID. So you can put his name and his job, and then you sign to make sure that you're not gonna reveal his true identity. So I think that's super, super cute. Kind of like an interactive thing. So I think that's really cute. Let me just put, let me try to push this back out, just so you can check them out. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to read this, but you can check that out. They're actually, it looks like they're from a town that's like 2 hours away from here. So I don't know if they traveled 2 hours for yesterday's market, but if they did, I mean, that's awesome. So I think this was super cute. When she brought me this, like I was like kind of taken aback. I was like, what? Like you're giving me something? So that was super, super sweet. Super cute. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that, since super cute little bird. So yeah, that was really sweet, really nice. So definitely go check them out. And yeah. So that is it for the Thursday night market. So I still have quite a lot of time today to just make stuff. So I do want to make more fried eggs since I only have one left, and I'd like to have more for like Saturday and Sunday. And I mean, I might have a bit of time to crochet tomorrow on Saturday, like a bit in the morning. I don't know what's going on tomorrow. We'll see what's going on. But yeah, I might have a bit of time to crochet tomorrow morning, but I won't have time to crochet between Saturday's market and Sunday's market. So hopefully I don't like sell out of anything on Saturday. I mean, selling out of something would be nice because that means I sold all of them, but then that means I don't have any for Sunday. So I don't know. But I do want to make some fried eggs today. Possibly a few more bigger bees. I don't know. Just there's a few things that I could make some of, but fried eggs are like a priority right now because I only have one left. So I will go crochet pretty much all day today. I will update you guys later on in the evening on everything I made, and I'm of course gonna have to put tags on all of that. So I'll just update you guys later on, show you guys everything I crocheted, and then we're gonna get those things ready together. Hey guys, so it's Saturday morning now. I'm so sorry I didn't update you guys yesterday. I was just really tired when I was done crocheting. I just went to bed. So I didn't update you guys on everything I crocheted yesterday, but I will just show you guys all of those things now because I have to get them all ready for tonight's market. So I actually crocheted quite a bit yesterday, so I'm pretty happy with everything I made. So I will show you guys. So first I made 3 fried eggs like I said I wanted to make. So I just made 3 of these. I just freehand them, but they're super fun and easy to make. Next, I have 2 chunky frogs like this. Of course, these are based on the original Leggy frog pattern. I just freehand mine, but they are based on that original pattern by, I believe, is Knot Jaded Co. So if you wanted a pattern to make these guys, just go check out the original Leggy frog pattern. And I make these with like really thick yarn, and their arms and legs just kind of curl like this, which a lot of people find funny. So yeah, they're pretty silly. So I just made 2 of these. I sold 1 on Thursday, so I figured I might as well just make 2 because this color, this like shade of green is the most popular I find. So I just made 2. Then I made 3 loaf cats. These are like my medium sized, I guess. I have like the jumbo size, and then I have a smaller size, so I guess these are the medium ones. I just freehand these. Two of them have yellow eyes, one of them has orange eyes. But yeah, so I was actually running pretty low on these. I didn't sell any on Thursday, but I think I only had like 2 left in my inventory, so I figured I might as well make more. And I don't have any in this like dark gray color in my inventory. I only have like orange ones. So I figured I might as well make some gray ones like this, and they are the same color as my jumbo cat that I have. So if someone really likes the jumbo cat but it's a bit out of their budget, they can get a smaller version. Then I made 2 big bees. I say big bees, but again, these are kind of like my medium-sized bee, kind of like the cats. I have my jumbo bee, and then I have a smaller size, which I did make some smaller ones too, so I'll show you guys the smaller ones after. But these are like the medium-sized bee, I guess. So yeah, I just made 2 in 2 different shades of yellow. I sold 2 on Thursday, so I just kind of replenished these 2. And these are the smaller sized bees. Again, I made 1 in each like shade of yellow, kind of like the medium bees. And this is my own free pattern that you can find on my coffee shop. I say coffee shop, but it is available for free, and it's no-sew. They work up super quickly, and they were one of my best sellers on Thursday, so I figured I might as well make a few more, even though I had quite a few left in my inventory. So that's everything I crocheted yesterday. I think that's a lot. I'm pretty happy with that. So now I just need to put price tags on all of those items and tags with my logo for branding. So I will go ahead and put those tags on those items. I won't do a time lapse of that. I'll just put the tags on and update you guys when I'm done. My square machine is charging right now, so I'm just getting every little thing ready just for tonight's event. Alright, so I'm done putting tags on everything I crocheted yesterday, so I will talk to you guys a little bit about tonight's market. So this is more of like a smaller, more like local market. The one I did on Thursday, like it was local too, because I mean, it was in the same city that I live in, but it was like right downtown, so most of the people that were there on Thursday, like walking around and stuff, were like tourists, and I'm sure there was a lot of local people, but it's downtown, so a lot of tourists end up walking there, and it's like a big attraction for people who are visiting the city, while tonight's market is in the suburb of the big city, and I live in that suburb, but I think more of the people that end up coming to these smaller markets are people that have the intention of shopping local. That's why they're going to that market. So it's not, those markets, there's not usually like an insane amount of traffic where it's somewhere that there's going to be traffic anyways, kind of like in those downtown markets. But the people that do show up there, they went there because they want to shop local. They went there because they want to support small businesses. The only attraction that there is there at these small markets is the local vendors. So that's what people are going there for. So there might not be an insane amount of traffic, but the people that are there usually have the intention of buying something from local vendors. So the market tonight, I've done a lot of events with this particular organizer, and I usually do pretty well. The last one I did with her, I did really well. I was really happy. And this is actually her first ever night market, so I think we're all pretty excited about that. There's gonna be, I think, around 40 vendors, maybe more. I don't know. The vendor list is pretty long. So, I'm pretty excited. I'm sure everyone else is too. I believe on the list there is one more vendor that sells crocheted plushies. I believe I've met her before. She's super nice, and she actually reached out to me after the other market we did together just to say hi and like just to say so sorry I didn't like go see you today. We were both a little bit like overwhelmed, so we both didn't go to the other person's booth to say hi, but it's gonna be nice to see her again. And with a group of 40 vendors, I think it's not so bad to have 2 vendors selling similar products. At least we're not just like a few of us. I don't know, we'll see, but we're at least not like super close to each other. I'm pretty sure we're pretty far from each other, so hopefully that helps, but it's still nice to see other crocheters, especially some that like I've seen before, and we don't like know each other personally, but we've seen each other before. We can say hi, all that kind of stuff. So anyways, I'm really excited. I hope today goes well. I'm hoping it goes better than Thursday. I didn't do horrible on Thursday, but I'm hoping to do better tonight. I'm really excited. Tonight's market is also a bit longer than Thursday's market was. Thursday was from 5 to 9 p.m. Today is from 4 to 9 p.m. So we got an extra hour. Hopefully we can make more sales and it can be successful. The weather is looking good too for tonight, so that's awesome. So we don't need to worry about that. So it's, I think, close to like 11 right now. So I can be there at 2:30 to start setting up. So I still have some time here. I'm probably gonna crochet a little bit. I don't really know, like I don't feel like making big things that I'm gonna need to put tags on later, so I might just make like some little plushies, little things that I can just pop into the bag that I just put all those plushies in, and they won't need tags or anything if they go like in a basket. So I might just make a few things like that, and I will try to show you guys before I leave. Like I mentioned earlier, my square machine's plugged in, so I'm just getting all those little things ready, and I will update you guys later on before I leave for the market, and then we will hopefully go have a good market. Alright guys, so I'll be leaving shortly for Saturday evening's market, so I just wanted to show you guys the things I crocheted today. I didn't make that many things. I crocheted for a bit and then I kind of did some cleaning around the house. So I just made 3 little frogs like this, and again, like the big ones, their arms curl and it's pretty funny and people like those. Again, they're based on the original Leggy frog pattern. For these, I just doubled up some acrylic yarn. It was like green variegated yarn, and I just used like the same ball and just doubled it up because it was pretty thin. I think it was like maybe a weight 3. So it was just too thin for me to work with alone, so I just kind of doubled it up and made some little froggies. So these sold pretty well on Thursday. Hopefully they'll sell well again today. So I made these 3. I'm just going to put them in the bag that I put the plushies that I put tags on earlier, since these don't need tags. And I will be going shortly to the market to start setting up. So I will show you guys my setup again once it's all complete, and I will try my best to update you guys if I can. Guys, so I'm back home from Saturday night's market. So I'm really happy with tonight's market. It was definitely better than Thursday night. So I'm really happy. I'm gonna try not to talk too much about this one right now, just because I need to go to bed for tomorrow's market, because tomorrow is not a night market, it's like an all-day market and I have to be there in the morning. So I need to get up kind of early tomorrow. So anyways, there was really good traffic at this market before I was even done setting up, like probably around 3:30 to 3:45. I was still setting up. The market started at 4, and a family came and they bought a bunch of items, and their total was like $71. So that already paid my booth fee plus like extra money. So before the market even started, I had paid off my booth fee and made some money. So I was really happy about that, and that's how I kind of knew like it's probably going to be a pretty good market, since before the market technically even started, there was a bit of traffic, and then right when it started, like, it started to get really busy, and it was just really nice. And at first, the first few hours, it was really busy, people were buying, it was going really, really well, and then I found, I don't even know about what time, it kind of like slowed down a bit in traffic, but mostly just slowed down in sales for me. There was still consistent traffic the whole time, basically, but I found like towards the end, the sales were getting like a lot lower and just like really far together, I guess. Like at first it was like sale after sale, and then after a bit, it just like people were looking, but they weren't really buying. I don't think it was the same people, but I don't know. It just seemed like the sales for me started to slow down like about halfway. And then I obviously still made some sales, but they just slowed down halfway. But I still did really, really well today. I'm really happy. I made over 10 times my booth fee, even in profit, so I'm really happy. So I will get into the numbers of all of that for you guys. So at tonight's event, I made a total of $743, which is awesome and definitely a lot better than on Thursday night. And the booth fee was only $50, which was great. It wasn't much more, I believe, on Thursday, but I mean, I made a lot more than 10 times my booth fee, so I'm really happy. The square fees were $11.62, which can be quite high, I guess, but I think like over 80% of the people paid with card. Like, I did not collect much cash today. Most sales were with a card, but I definitely would have missed out on sales if I didn't accept cards. So the fees are worth it. So that leaves me with a total profit of $681.38. So, like I said, more than 10 times my booth fee profit. I'm really happy with that. I'm not saying I'm always aiming to make 10 times my booth fee, but I think it's a good goal to set for myself. So I achieved that plus more. I'm really happy with how tonight went. I just thought it was a really great market in general. Also, one thing about tonight's market is that it was literally like a 5-minute drive from my house. So I didn't need to go like downtown, didn't need to pay for parking, and it was just really easy. I could bring my car right up to my booth just to unload my car and then go park it. And then when the market was done, we just kind of packed everything up, and then I was able to bring my car, load it right there. So it wasn't a hassle. Like, it was just really easy, really smooth going. So that was really nice. It was really hot out, but there was a lot of wind. Also, that's one thing. Maybe in the video where I showed you guys like my setup, maybe you noticed I didn't have my banner in the back of my booth like I did on Thursday. And that's because we put it up at first, but there was just so much wind. It was like pushing right in it, and it just wasn't nice. Like, it was making a big bubble. It was like a sail on a sailboat kind of thing. There was just so much wind. So we tried to put the banner on the side, but it was still getting caught in the wind and pushing things over, like my plushies on my table. So we just decided not to put it at all. But then the wind was pushing some plushies onto the ground, which happened quite often. Thankfully, none of them got really dirty. Like, sometimes there was a bit of like dirt, and we just were able to just brush it right off, and it was fine. But the wind was definitely really annoying today, but I mean, no one can control that. That was just one thing that was kind of annoying about today, but that's no one's fault except for the wind. But overall, it was a really great market, really well advertised. Obviously, a lot of people came by. I even saw some people that I know that I didn't even know were gonna go shopping, and then we were like, oh, hi. So that was really fun. I'm really happy with today's market. So I wrote my whole breakdown for you guys of all my sales. So let's get right into it. It's going to be the exact same thing as Thursday's market for the breakdown. I did sell a lot of more expensive items today too, so that definitely helped out a lot. So let's get right into the breakdown. So I started with one bear and I sold it for $25. I started with 14 small bees and I sold one for $12. I started with 4 medium sea turtles and I sold one for $25. I started with 26 little birdies and I sold 2 of them for $12 each. I started with 5 medium cats and I sold 2 of them for $20 each. I started with 1 jumbo cat and I sold it for $45, so that was a more expensive item that I sold today. I started with 25 mini chickens and I sold 1 for $10. I started with 16 regular or medium chickens and I sold 1 for $18. I started with 32 chicken nuggets and I sold 1 for $8. I started with 1 cow, regular size cow, and I sold it for $28. I started with 4 big elephants and I sold 1 for $45, so another more expensive item. I started with 16 hot dogs and I sold 2 of them for $25 each, and they come with the basket and the napkin also. I started with 132 keychains and I sold 4 of them for $8 each. I started with 5 big frogs and I sold 1 for $18. I started with 22 small frogs and I sold 2 of them for $8 each. I started with 9 mini turtles and I sold 1 for $12. I started with 1 medium jellyfish and I sold it for $30. I started with 12 chubby bunnies and I sold 2 of them for $15 each. I started with 14 small sea turtles and I sold 3 of them for $18 each. I started with 8 jumbo sea turtles and I sold 1 for $38. I started with 3 weighted chickens, and they were all different like weights, so they all had different prices, and I sold 2 of them, 1 for $35 and 1 for $38. I started with 2 weighted square animals and I sold 1 for $65. I just say weighted square animals. They're just weighted and they're square and they're an animal. They're a lot more expensive because there's more weighted material in it. They're a lot heavier than the weighted chickens, so that's why they're more expensive, because the weighted materials are quite expensive. And lastly, I started with 3 crop tops in the size medium large and I sold 1 for $45. So that's a total of 34 items that sold. So that's really great. I'm really happy with all of those items that sold. I'm just happy that I sold more items than I did Thursday, and also I sold more expensive items. Thursday was mostly just smaller items, but I mean, I sold my giant cat, I sold a crop top, which was a bit more expensive, and I also sold 1 big elephant, which was $45, and a few weighted plushies, which they are expensive, but I don't actually make that much of a profit off of them, because the reason they're expensive is because the weighted materials are expensive, but it's still a more expensive item that sold. So for tonight's best sellers, number 1, as usual, is keychains, and I sold 4 of them. The number 2 bestseller is small sea turtles, and I sold 3 of them. And I don't even know if I should be mentioning the number 3, because there's just so many, because they're just the items that I sold 2 of each, which we have the little birdies, medium cats, hot dogs, small frogs, weighted chickens, chubby bunnies. There's just so many, so I'm not even gonna add that. I mean, I just mentioned them all, but I would just say my best sellers today, I guess, were keychains and small sea turtles, but I sold a lot of a variety of different items. I sold a lot of items that I just sold 1 of them, kind of thing. So of course I do have the best sellers, but I just sold a little bit of everything today. So overall, I'm really happy with today's market. I think it went really, really well. As for tomorrow, the weather is not looking great. It says it's going to be nice pretty much until 2 p.m. and then it says it's going to thunderstorm. But it did say it was going to thunderstorm Thursday, like kind of before the market. But my grandparents live really close to where the market is, and I had asked them if it rained at all at any point before the market, and they said it rained like at like 7 a.m. But other than that, they had nothing. So meanwhile, the weather app was telling me it was thunder and lightning at like 3. So, and they said there was nothing. So I don't really know if we can like go off of the weather app. I understand sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes they don't know. So I don't know. Tomorrow, it says it's going to be nice and sunny, really hot and humid, but it says it's going to be nice and sunny up until 2, and then it says it's going to thunderstorm. Is it really going to thunderstorm? I don't know. So tomorrow morning, I will see if I have an email from the organizer. Last year, when the weather was looking like really, really bad, like thunder and lightning, and it could potentially be unsafe, they would just reschedule the market. So I'll check if I have an email tomorrow morning. If not, we'll go, and if the weather starts to get bad, we'll just pack up and go, and hopefully we can make a few sales before we pack up, if we do pack up early. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully it changes, because the weather likes to change like every 20 minutes here apparently. So we'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep you guys updated, of course. But so far we're planning on going to the market unless we get an email saying it's postponed or canceled or whatever. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. Hopefully it changes though. So that's it for me for tonight. I will be going to bed very soon, and I'll get up tomorrow, check my emails, and I will let you guys know. So see you guys tomorrow morning. Hey guys, so it's Sunday morning before the market. When I got up this morning, I didn't get an email or anything saying the market is canceled or like they're rescheduling or anything. So we're gonna go and hope for the best. Hopefully it doesn't even have any thunderstorms or anything. Often that's the case. They say there will be and then there's not. So let's just hope that's the case again today. And if we all figure, well, the weather's getting really bad and it's like dangerous for our products and us and everything, then we'll just probably pack up early or whatever. The organizer's probably going to tell us to pack up early if they think it's unsafe or anything like that. So we're gonna go and hope for the best, and I will try to keep you guys updated. But I did remember one thing that I wanted to talk about yesterday for yesterday's market, and I completely forgot. So I did mention yesterday that there was another crochet vendor. I think I mentioned that just like before the market because they were also on the vendor list. So anyways, I still did really well, obviously, as we saw yesterday. And I'm assuming they did really well too, because I did see a lot of people walking by with some of their plushies too. So I'm sure that had I been the only one, I would have made even more sales and done even better. But obviously there was enough like customers to go around yesterday for the both of us. And there was definitely some people that even bought from them and me. So that's awesome when they like support both businesses that are there that sell similar things. So yeah, I'm sure I definitely maybe lost some sales because they were there, and maybe vice versa. Maybe they lost some sales because of me. So had either of us been the only one there, we probably would have done a lot better. But I still did really well, and I'm assuming they also did really well considering I saw a lot of people walking by with some of their plushies. So I'm sure we both did really well. So it wasn't that much of an issue. So I'm mentioning that because today again there is another crochet vendor, not the same one, another one. So hopefully it's the same today, that there's enough business to go around for everyone, hopefully. So I'll try to keep you guys updated. I'll show you guys my setup, and we will see how the day goes, and hopefully the weather doesn't be bad or anything. We're all set up now. I didn't make a sale yet. Usually I would have made a sale so far, but there's not that many people so far because it's literally so hot. Like, we're in the shade and everything, and I'm boiling. So it's gonna be really hot today, so I don't know how many people are gonna come out, but hopefully we can have a good day, and I'll try to keep you guys updated. It's just past 11:30 now, and technically the market only started at 11, and I made quite a few sales, and one of them was like a big expensive thing. So it's going pretty well, so hopefully we can keep doing really well. And it's really, really hot, and I'm like dying, so yeah. Alright, so I'm back home from Sunday's market. I'm back home early. I'm pretty sure all the other vendors are also back home early. As you probably saw from the videos that I added, the little clips, it was pouring rain. Not the whole time. So when I did update you guys a little bit, like, it was nice and sunny, really, really hot. Like, I took a screenshot of the weather app, and I think it was like 30 something degrees Celsius, feels like 43 or something, which honestly, they might as well just say it's 43 degrees because it feels like it's 43 degrees. So, anyways, we were all like sweating. Some people may have gotten a heat stroke. We were all trying to drink as much water as possible, but, anyways, it was just really, really hot, and we knew that rain was a possibility. And then the rain wasn't kidding, so it really showed up. And then at first it was just like raining a little bit, so we just brought all of our stuff in our tent. And I just made sure nothing was like sticking out or anything. So when it was just raining a little bit, not too hard, that was working. Nothing was getting wet because we were like containing everything in the middle of the tent. And then it started like pouring, and there was a lot of wind that was like bringing the rain in all sorts of directions. So everything was wet, even in the middle of the tent. Every bag that was on the ground, everything that was on the ground, like my bags, my extra bags and everything, and my bag of supplies was on the ground. That got drenched. Even things on the table, like most things that were really right in the middle, I don't think got very wet, but even if it was like close to the middle that we like brought in, we couldn't fit everything right in the middle of the tent, obviously. So a lot of things got wet. And then the organizers just passed by and said, like, you can pack up if you want, which a lot of people did. And then the rain like was starting to calm down, and then my boyfriend was there with me today. But we just decided to pack up and go anyways, because by that time I had made a decent amount of sales. I was happy with the sales I made, and honestly, I didn't want to sell wet plushies to people. I think that's really gross. So, I just decided we're gonna go home, and I brought everything that was wet inside. I'm gonna lay it all out on the bed here in the yarn room, put the dehumidifier in here, and just let them dry. I don't think that's gonna be an issue, but I just didn't want to sell any wet plushies to people. And on the whole drive back home, it was pouring, so I'm assuming that it was still pouring over there. So yeah, we got rained on. Right now, I'm just really gross, a mix of sweat and a mix of rain, water. It's really gross. I need to take a shower. But first, I just wanted to update you guys about the market, and I will give you guys all the good details with the amount of money I made today and a breakdown of everything I sold, because I still sold a decent amount of stuff before the whole rain happened. Also, one more thing, before the market, I said that there was going to be another crochet vendor. That other crochet vendor decided not to come today. I don't know, they just said she wasn't coming. Maybe she just decided with the rain or whatever, she didn't want to risk her items or things like that. So she wasn't there, which definitely helped my sales though, because there was another vendor selling crochet and a bit of plushies, but I think like their main stuff is like micro crochet, so they had like, I don't know, just things I don't have. I don't know, it said micro crochet jewelry. I didn't really go check it out, but they were really close to me. So they were there, and I think they had a few plushies, but I don't think that was much. Like, I don't know, they had plushies that I didn't have, so I don't think that was really an issue. So, and the main thing they were selling was not plushies, so I don't think that was like a huge issue. So I think I was the only one there that was selling plushies as like the main thing that we're selling. So yeah, I still did decent before all the rain decided to fall. So I will share all of that with you guys. So today I made a total of $392, which is okay, alright, considering we left pretty early. The booth fee was $70, so it was more expensive than Thursday's market and yesterday's market. But if the weather was good, we would have obviously stayed longer until 5. So it would have been a longer market, probably would have made more sales if the weather had cooperated, but it didn't. So the booth fee was $70. The square fees were $8.59. So that leaves me with a total profit today of $313.41. So it's still better than I did on Thursday. So I'm happy about that. Obviously, it would have been nice to stay there longer and make more sales, but I'm still happy with that. So for the breakdown, again, it's going to be the exact same thing as the 2 other times. So starting with big B's, I started with 6 and I sold 1 for $20. I started with 13 small B's and I sold 2 of them for $12 each. I started with 24 mini chickens and I sold 1 for $10. I started with 15 regular chickens or medium chickens and I sold 2 of them for $18 each. I started with 31 chicken nuggets and I sold 4 of them for $8 each. I started with 11 elephants and I sold 1 for $28. I started with 3 giant jellyfishes and I sold 1 for $50. I started with 3 smaller jellyfishes and I sold 1 for $24. I started with 128 keychains and I sold 3 of them for $8 each. I started with 8 mini turtles and I sold 1 for $12. I started with 15 chunky octos and I sold 2 of them for $10 each. I started with 10 chubby bunnies and I sold 2 of them for $15 each. I started with 11 small sea turtles and I sold 1 for $18. And lastly, I had 1 weighted square animal left from yesterday and I sold it for $65. So that's a total of 23 items that sold. So I'm really happy with that. And I sold more expensive items than I did on Thursday. I think I sold 24 items on Thursday, so I sold technically less items today, but they were more expensive. There was the weighted one and there was a giant jellyfish that I sold, so those really helped out my profits today. So today's best sellers, number 1, we have chicken nuggets and I sold 4 of them. Number 2, we have keychains and I sold 3 of them. Again, kind of like yesterday, I won't really mention like the number 3 bestseller. I guess I will mention all of them, but I wouldn't say they necessarily count as a bestseller because it's like a tie with a million other different things. So there's small bees that I sold 2 of them, regular chickens I sold 2, chunky octos I sold 2, chubby bunnies I sold 2. So it's just a lot of things that are like tied for number 3. We can count them if we want, but I think number 1 and 2 bestsellers are more important when there's not like a bunch of ties for number 3. So those were my bestsellers for today. So I guess not really surprising, but keychains wasn't number 1, which it usually is, but they were right there at number 2, and chicken nuggets, which are kind of a hit or miss for me. Sometimes I sell a lot of chicken nuggets and then sometimes I don't sell any. So they were my bestseller today. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy with today's sales. Also, all the patterns and tutorials available for anything I mentioned in this video will all be linked in the description for you guys. So with all three markets that I brought you guys to in this video, the one on Thursday night, Saturday night, and then today, I made a total profit for the weekend. I'm just gonna say weekend. I know Thursday isn't part of the weekend, but I'm just gonna say weekend, it's easier. So my total profit for the weekend is $1,258.70. So obviously that doesn't take into consideration like the gas it takes and all that stuff. But don't worry, I do take all of those expenses into consideration at the end of the month, along with my supplies like the yarn, stuffing, all that. I take all of that into consideration at the end of the month when I calculate my expenses. So, don't worry if you were thinking about that. But I think that's a pretty good profit for like 3 markets. I mean, yes, it was a lot of work to go to the markets and set up and everything, but I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of really nice people. So, yeah, I was kind of disappointed by Thursday night's market. I had hoped that it would go better, but it didn't, and that happens sometimes. So, I'm happy with all the markets overall. Obviously, Saturday's market was the best in terms of sales. I made the most money, and it was the easiest to set up at. So, that would definitely be my favorite market of these 3 markets, but I did enjoy going to all of them. Today I had a lot of fun, even though we got rained on. I met some really nice people, some really nice other vendors, so I still had a lot of fun. I'm happy with my sales, and I hope you guys enjoyed coming to these markets with me. So that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already for more videos like this, since I have a lot of markets this summer, so definitely stay tuned. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!